Good evening, everyone. Thank you, all the educators, for joining in today's session of discipline and nurturing. Why it's important? Because it lays a foundation for your personal growth, professional development, and emotional well-being. And to have this session, who would be the right person than Suruchi Saini, ma'am? I mean, ma'am, if we start with your accolades, it's gonna go on and on and on and on. So I will just pass on the banter to you to take the center stage and go ahead and enlighten us with the topic discipline and nurturing. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Siddhan, and it's pleasure to be here with everyone today. Um, I'm just going to start with thanking all of you for sharing, your wisdom, your care with all the students, and taking time out from your evening to be able to part of this presentation and to be able to part of this group. I have had some really good experiences while I was in school, in college, and even when I was doing my master's. Teachers have really helped me and supported me, encouraged me, motivated me. Even when I was demotivated, they were always there to motivate me to what to do. I realized, what a teacher can do in a child's life because, as a child, I remember I used to go home and I will just finish my homework, play, do my thing, and sleep. So most of my awake hours were in the school with my teachers, with my coaches. So whether we realize or not, but as a teacher, I think the influence, the impact that all of you have and that you chose to be the teacher, it's really amazing. The students might not be able to say or share at the time because they are younger, their terminology is limited, and they are very busy finishing their courses and subjects. But when as we grow, you can see, I still think about so many teachers whenever I'm self-reflecting. So thank you for what you do, and I really hope that you continue to do what you are doing. I always say teachers are all, the providers of education as well as care. So thank you for being you. So today we are going to start about discipline, or we are going to talk about discipline and nurturing. Not the new topics for you. You are very familiar with it, but as part of it, I'm just going to share a few thoughts. So discipline refers to the practice of training, where we teach, how to be in order, how to increase the efficiency, or how to develop personal habits. Like I said, most of the students, their awake time, their alert time, they are in the school. So they are depending on you. So how can we become more dependable? How can we influence them in a good way? In an education context, discipline helps students develop good habits, respect for others, not only teachers, also for their coaches, also for their fellow students, because that's very, very important, especially now the students that you are teaching and you are providing care. I'm sure you are fully aware of it, that teachers today have a lot more added responsibility because your students are going global. They are not limited to India. When I see young ones here, it's amazing to see what teachers have done with them. So discipline, a very, very important part of day-to-day life. Then we talk about nurturing. Nurturing is a process where caring, encouraging the growth and development. Like Aarti very well said, their personal growth, your personal growth, it goes hand in hand. It involves providing emotional support, encouragement, and help students find resources around them in their home, in their school, in the libraries, among other teachers, even if they are not teaching them, mentors, because students do want to feel very valued, understood, and so that they can be motivated to learn. So nurturing part is one of my personal favorite part because I feel discipline is something which I think a lot of busy parents are able to do, sometimes for students' convenience, sometimes for their own convenience. And I get that. I think nurturing sometimes they fall through. A lot of time it happens because parents are busy, grandparents are busy. Most of the people are living in neutral families. There are no more joint families in India, or there are very few joint families in India. So I see that their nurturing is kind of dependent on teachers. Um, and I know all of you have read a lot of psychology when you were, studying for education. Sometimes in the process, we are able to use, because I am also fully aware that teachers do have pressure to finish their courses on time, before the deadline or by the deadline. So try your best. If you can focus more on nurturing, especially when you know there is a student who has the potential but is struggling a little bit. So every now and then, I might be more focusing on nurturing. Maybe it's the psychologist in me, or it's the young student that I used to be when I was younger. All of this will be the combination. Okay, so let's go through the benefits. Structure and order. Discipline provides the structure and order necessary for an effective learning environment. It basically sets the expectations, that they can focus better on their studies without unnecessary distractions. So kids are younger, especially if you are teaching students who are, I'll say, below 12, 13, they are relying on you. That discipline is important, but discipline is not a punishment. It is good for them. I can share with you, even when I work with adults today, whether it's a corporate setting or it's a college adult, young men, women, or it's my individual clients, I sometimes have to remind them that, this is not new to you. When we were little, we knew when to eat. There was a lunch break, there was a maths class, there was a social studies class. It's the same concept. Why can't we move it to the adulthood? So I think when we are with the young students, it's okay to share with them that these timetables and these courses and these deadlines are for your benefits, because you are going to use them for life, personal, professional, social life. So structure, order, definitely a great advantage. Safety and security. A disciplined and nurturing environment helps ensure the safety and security of all students. Consistent enforcement. I would like to, put some pressure on consistent enforcement of rules, prevents disruptive behavior, promotes a sense of fairness and equality. So teachers, and I'm sure most of you are, or all of you are, you know that when we are consistent with the younger ones, they they have more tendency to follow. When we fluctuate, they fluctuate because they are already fluctuating. Their brains are not fully developed. And on a side note, I'm going to share with you our executive functioning is not, basically, it's a function of prefrontal cortex. It's not developed until we are 25 fully. 25. So if kids are not able to follow through, if kids are not able to understand, or their executive functioning, basically scheduling, planning is not good, they are not doing something that to bug parents or sibling or teachers. They just cannot do it. Some of them are better because of their environmental factors. But scientifically, neuroscientifically, it's not developed. It's developing. So please be very mindful, as patient as you can be. I know it's tough, but I'm sure this information will help you. Moving further, personal development. Discipline and nurturing encourages students to develop self-control, responsibility, and time management. There we go. So self-control, responsibility, and time management. Responsibility, it will increase with the time. We all know that. We have all been there. Self-control is something very, very important. And as a holistic practitioner, I can share with you, me as a student myself, or ex-student in the past for school, um, a lot of meditations and mindfulness practices help me a lot in the self-control, to the point that if today you tell me, Suruchi, you cannot eat this, I won't. It's as simple as that. And it's a small example. There are bigger self-control, that we can help our students and we can do as well as adults. So self-control, responsibility, and time management. Like I said, a few minutes back, if we are consistent, if we are managing time better, the kids will follow you. You know that because they are with you 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day. in some cases, maybe more. So you are the main influencer in their life. Sometimes I feel parents are just paying for the fee and providing them food and clothing. So you are the one. So please be very, very mindful of that. Then is the emotional support. Of course, nurturing involves providing emotional support and understanding. Everything that you have read in psychology, this is where it is. You can pick your favorite subjects or topics or strategies or skills from psychology to help them nurture as much as you can with all your challenges and deadlines and everything. With students, to feel value and cared for, their self-esteem and confidence grow. This is not something new I'm sharing with you. I'm fully aware of it. But sometimes we get so lost in teaching and day-to-day life. We also have personal lives. So it's just a good reminder that who we are when we are in the classroom and when we enter the building. There is nurture. Oh, sorry, I went back. Motivation and engagement. A nurturing approach fosters a positive and supportive classroom atmosphere. When students feel supported, they are more likely to be motivated and engaged. Like I mentioned earlier, that's how it's go, and it does affect their performance. I don't know a lot of students who do well with punishment, but I can, and I'm sure you are party to it. I'm sure you know a lot of students who have done well with motivation, encouragement, and a lot of nurturing and love in many cases, because sometimes parents are not able to provide for any million reasons. Building trust, a combination of discipline and nurturing, yes, builds trust. We all know this, right? Whether they seek help, whether they want to, you help them actively participate, all of this, helps in building the trust. Holistic development. Together, discipline, nurturing contribute to holistic development of the students. So they are not only focused on academic success, but also emotional, social, and moral growth. Yes, very, very important. Their more moral compass is pretty much with you. They look at you, they watch you, they observe you. So if you can be very mindful, it will help you. And when we provide them discipline and nurturing, always remember, this is where your psychologist part comes in. You help students reduce their anxiety and stress. I'm sure you have seen a change post-COVID. I just feel students and parents are not same. It has affected a lot of people. So if you can do, the nurturing part a little bit more, whether it's talking in private or whether it is, asking them, hey, how are you doing? Or whether meeting them at a door. I'll talk about it in strategies. Please do try to do that as much as possible. All right, so our life experiences and projections. This is very important. I think we as providers, I as a psychologist, you as teachers and influencers in your own way, our life experiences, if we have not reflected, if we have not thought about like how my childhood experiences in school, college, or even at home has have impacted me in general or on day-to-day life, we can really totally innocently accidentally project that on our students, or in my case on my clients. So my request to everybody is, when you enter building, when you enter your classroom, please continue to make sure that you are really, really in the classroom with them, and they are the one who all that matter. Not what has happened in the childhood, not that I am anxious, I was running late today. If you are running late, you can do deep breathing. It takes 2 minutes and you can continue to start, because the students get on our anxiety, our anxious vibrations very quickly, because remember, they are young, they don't have the terminology, they don't have a lot of, they're not very well equipped. So whatever we share with them, they get it. They absorb everything from us. So as much as you can be, that will be great. So fulfilling prophecy. When teachers and parents have high expectation for students, that's the positive impact. these students are likely to rise to the occasion and achieve higher levels of success. With love on the side note. Confidence building, positive projections, and encouragement can help building students' self-esteem and confidence. We talked about it. Motivation, believing in students' potential can motivate them to work harder. I think you have seen it over the years, and you will continue to see it as long as you are able to participate in it. And every now and then, I have used that in my with my clients. Every time when they achieve something, and every time when they feel stuck with not doing it, I try my best to remind them, remember, last month you were able to do this. What is stopping you right now? What is interfering? So basically reminding them of their own strengths and then encouraging and pushing them to try again. It's okay to try again. It really, really works. Emotional support, positive projections provide emotional support and making students feel valued and understood. So all these major 5 points, these can have a positive impact. And if we don't take care of ourselves and we don't realize what is happening in their households or when they are coming, they can totally go flip on the negative side. So I would like you to continue to be very careful with, when students come to you. Okay, so quick nose. Self-check on your emotions when you enter school, especially classroom. Like I was saying, I'm going to talk about it. So I would say I am a great advocate of meditations and mindfulness practices. And these are very common these days. The whole world knows about it, thanks to India, right? So no spillovers, no projections, and no bullying as well. A lot of time, very innocently, very unknowingly, we don't realize it, but when we get upset with our students, we don't realize sometimes in our emotions when we cross the line. So I would urge you, I'm not saying you are doing it, but just be very, very mindful of your own emotions when you enter the classroom and when you enter the building. Like I said, these are the students who are relying on you. So we don't want any spillovers there. And if you are not having a good day, it's, like I said, you can deep breathe, you can stretch, you can talk to your colleagues, you can, if there's a counselor in the school, or if there's an administrator or principal, whatever you are allowed to do it, because you are the person every single student look up to. I know it's a lot of pressure, but I think you are quite familiar with it, that they literally look at you. My favorite teacher used to be my English poetry teacher in the school. And I would just, as a girl, as a girly girl, I would look not only what she's going to talk about poetry, but also what she's wearing, how she's talking, how she's sitting, and how she goes from chair to chair and check with every student. Did you like this poem? Would you be able to do the homework? Can I help you? I have such wonderful memories. Every single thing mattered at the time. So that's how, I'll leave it at that. So please be very mindful of no spillover, no projections, and no bullying as well. Exercise. So it's a 2-minute exercise. I'm not going to make you work hard. I know you're already so hardworking and working all the time. I'm just going to ask you to take a minute. And if you need to close your eyes or not, I would like you to think about 2 favorite teacher memories from your childhood. Just for 2 minutes. I'll watch the clock. So we can gently come back to the room. Thank you for participating in that. So now my question to you is, what were a few things that came to your mind? Okay, we have Dipali.
Yes, ma'am. When you gave us for 2 minutes, there was a psychology teacher. Her name was Nordial, ma'am. She was very patient, very calm, and very relaxed. And the way she built her relationship with students, ma'am, we are so much comfortable that we can share everything with that teacher. So I still remember that teacher, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And we have Indu.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. This was really a very good exercise. I just remind my teacher. She was my favorite teacher. She was a dance teacher, and she used to teach me all the, steps, and which I really, that was my, happy time when I used to dance with her. So I really, just miss today.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And we have Mamta.
Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I remembered my economics teacher, business studies teacher in grade 12th. She was the one who built that confidence within me. She was the one who showed that trust in me that yes, I can do if I really, go for it. When everybody was saying that I can't do, when I was looking for my graduation, what I'll do in the graduation, and everybody around me was like, you need a lot of percentage for that, and you won't be able to score that many marks. So this
Mm,
particular teacher, she was Miss Manisha Chug.
mm,
She said, "Ki I know that you can do it, and you will do it." And because of her these words, I actually did that,
mm.
and I still have that confidence. Yes, if I believe in myself, I can do it. So that's my best
Awesome.
memory I have.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Mamta. We have Sukhvinder.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
My teacher, one of the teacher was Mr. Chopra. He was the English
Mm,
tutor, and I was one of the bright students. I'm not praising myself, but this was the reality. And he always used to guide me that I should go in this field and this field.
mm,
So I remember his guidance till this time also. And he used to say one thing always. Uh, can I speak in Hindi or Punjabi? Because he used to, yes, he said कि परमात्मा मेरी सेहत ठीक रखे, पैसा मैं खुद कमा लूंगा. So he used to always use say this thing. So I always follow him.
nice. Nice. Beautiful. Thank you, Sukhvinder. Aarti, go for it.
So, my story is a very different one. When I thought of the teacher whom I remember, sadly, all the teachers were not good at that time because they were not able to identify the emotions as a child I was suffering from. I had this like I can't speak fluently. As a result, all the teachers keep on just dotting down on me that you cannot do anything in life and all that. करके. So those are
Mm,
the memories. So luckily, I have my teacher who was the principal of my last school, who gave me
mm,
a major turn and made me realize I have the power within. It is only in my late 30s that I could come to know the power.
mm,
Otherwise, yes, Shami Pruthi is my great teacher who has made me realize so many things, and I am grateful for this past 4 years that she is with me.
mm.
So my understanding toward these emotions regarding my school life, I have nobody who have supported the kind of emotionally impacted child I was. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Aarti. We have Lavina.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
All I was able to recall in those 2 minutes was very few moments of appreciation which I received as a student while I was in school. So
Mm,
that was it, ma'am. I think these are the only things, appreciation, that you are also focusing on. That we will only be able to remember the moments of appreciation, the moments of support, the moment of love for the lifetime, for the whole lifetime. Thank you, ma'am.
right. Absolutely. Thank you, Lavina. And Binny.
Ma'am, I remember that my favorite teacher is my English ma'am. Her name is Khanna ma'am. We called her, and I was got very scared to speak in front of so many people. I literally got shivered. So every time when I have to speak in front of so many people, she stand in the front and always say, "See to me and think people are sitting in front of you. They are just there to listen you." And she always stands in the front so I can see her and can speak in front of so many people.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. That's beautiful. And here you are. Today you are a teacher. every single day you're speaking in front of so many people, right? Even if they are little people, you know, they are young, but hey, they are there.
Yes.
So that's beautiful, you know, and thank you for sharing your experiences. I would also like to, you know, like we do with our students and I do with my clients all the time, I would also like you to keep these everything that you have shared with, you know, that they increased our confidence. Dance class gave me happiness, economic, you know, economy, sorry, I'm sorry, blah. You know, my economy teacher was giving me confidence, and a few people, English teacher guiding and helping you speak up or appreciating every single thing that you have shared. I would really, really like you to continue to keep it very close to your heart, so that anytime when in present day, any teacher or any student challenges you, it might you might want to respond in a different way, but I would like you to continue to go home, think about where that particular teacher was, what she did for you, and next day come back with the same zeal. Because we know that, you know, I'm not unfamiliar. There are students who are going to challenge you. There are going to be some personal situations which are going to feel challenged. But do we need to forget what we chose to do? Do we need to forget that how we can help these students who are really looking up to us? No, we don't. We can always shut down. So this is also what I call it, like self-control. I expect that from my clients, but I also practice that because we do need to. How to switch off button between personal and professional life. So all these teachers who have influenced us in such a beautiful, powerful way, more power to you, and more power to your students who are right now, they're your students and who are going to be your students. So again, thank you for sharing what you shared. Oh, Dipali, okay, thank you. All right. So, and we'll talk more about in Q&A. Let's move further. So here we go in the strategies. Excuse me. Establish clear expectations, setting rules and boundaries. So this is my one humble request. I would like you to be as careful as possible with your students, where you are very, very clearly communicating the expectations and the consequences right from the beginning, day one of your school year. Because if we let them be, you know, a lot of time, a couple of my teachers have done that. I remember in the past that they say that, okay, I'm giving you time to adjust. I'm giving you time to catch up. Let's see how are your off time and everything. All is important. But before the first day of the class ends, it's very, very important to set those rules so that they can see that yes, the teachers are teachers. They are friendly teachers, but they are not friends really. Because that's where I think we start to lose our boundaries, and then it becomes very difficult to discipline or nurture them properly later on. So as much as you can, first week is very, very important when you come back. You want to catch up with them, you want to know about them, but also want to set certain boundaries. Then, like I said a few minutes back, consistency is the key. I think as a teacher, all of you know that already. I still wanted to put it up there. So apply rules consistently to ensure fairness. It will help you, it will help your students. Second, build positive relationships. So genuine interest, even on the days when you might be struggling for any reason. Like I said, maybe running late or something happened at home or some news came back in newspaper. If you read newspaper in the morning, I will highly discourage. Don't read newspaper in the morning, but if some people have the habit, they are going to do it anyways. So try to show genuine interest. Take the time to understand your students' interests, strengths, and challenges. And if you can keep reminding them of their strength, they will start to remember their strengths instead of you have to tell them again, and they'll remember it for life. That no matter what happens, this is their strength. Be approachable, create an environment where students feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and concern, which I'm confident you are already doing it. Encourage positive behavior. So again, we talk about the reinforcement. First, recognizing and rewarding or reinforcing the good behavior or if they have any achievements. Model desired behavior, like I said multiple times, they look at us, they watch us, they observe us, they see when you tell that this is the boundary and you cannot be late to the class for more than 5 minutes, you actually mean it. They need that. They are young, they are learning. And actually schools are schools are almost like a introduction to the world. So if you set boundaries, they will know that they need to manage their boundaries when they step out of the secure school system. College is a different level, right? Okay. Provide constructive feedback. So being very, very specific, offer clear, actionable advice on how students can improve. So I know every single person will have their own ideas how they provide feedback. And some of you probably would like to do verbally. Some of you would like to do it in written. Some of you would like to do it through images, through videos. That's your style. And I'm sure as part of psychology education, they have mentioned that every student could be on a different level. So even though sometimes it can be difficult to be aware of every single student, but at least we can pay attention to when we know a student is struggling, that what is his learning modality. Is it like reading? Is it image, photos, videos, written? What is it? And then we can use that as much as possible. Create a supportive learning environment in inclusive practices. So basically ensure all students feel valued and included. You can give them class jobs. You can ask them to read something, the usual self, especially if somebody is struggling who is not doing very well on the grades, they can do some reading. I think we all want to be valued as adults and as students. Flexible approaches, adopt your teaching method to cater different learning styles, like I mentioned. Develop emotional intelligence. Another very, very important. Teach self-regulation. So self-regulation is basically when we go through emotions and what do we do? Think about it for a minute. I will not go into the exercise, but I'm just requesting you to think about that when we are feeling emotional, what do we want to do? I don't want to teach today. I don't want to, do anything, but we are still able to, one way or the other, do that. So I think students also need to have they need to know that they can regulate themselves. They can control their emotions, at least partially, if not fully. They can control their behavior, if not fully, at least partially. It will help them because I think they need to know that emotional regulation is a real thing and it can be achieved. So teaching self-regulation helps students develop strategies for managing their emotions, empathy and understanding. Show compassion, understanding in challenging situations. So compassion, again, I know we are not parents, but we are right next to them. So when you need to teach a subject, you teach a subject. When you can show a little extra love and care, it will go a long, long way. Because even when we were doing the exercise, I think you must have noticed that almost everybody, talked about the compassion they showed. We were not like that chapter was very well taught or that mathematical calculation was wonderful. We all remember their love, encouragement, their guidance, their compassion. This is even when I was looking at everybody, as many people I can see, there were smiles on the face for the most part. That's what teachers' power is, whether we realize or not. So you can continue to share that with your students. Foster independence and responsibility. Autonomy. I know there is a difference between Indian school system and American school system. So, and I always like the Indian school system anyways. So autonomy is very important. I totally understand that. So is discipline and nurturing. We cannot go in extreme. We cannot allow 12, 15-year-olds to have full autonomy. We can be participant in their autonomy. That's more helpful because they are young. Remember, in the beginning, I said their prefrontal cortex is not really developed fully. So we don't need to control them. We just need to be with them. It's basically hand holding in a very, very positive way. That's what I'm trying to show. That's why I like the Indian system, where we give them freedom, we walk with them as much as possible, but we still try our best to, use the discipline and nurturing skills. Set achievable goals, help students set and work towards realistic goals. So goals, again, they can be divided on daily basis, weekly, monthly, and yearly. I think it depends on what school plan you have. But I would like you to, as much as you can remind yourself and to your students that this is the goal of the class today. And when you are able to achieve the goal, remind them that all of you did well. And thank you for participating in achieving today's goal. And from that come the discipline as well, that, hey, silence, or students, something along those lines. So having a daily class goal, weekly goal, monthly goal, yearly goal, it will help you, it will help your students. Try your best. So the quick side notes, class routines. So this is one of my favorite ones. I have done that, when I go for my events in US. If I'm talking to students, I use this. To begin, I do like 3 times, clap, clap, clap. So 50% of them will listen to you. Then I do clap, clap, clap. I would like everybody in the hall or classroom to do clap, clap, clap with me. Still, a lot of students will not participate. Then I will do, unless every single person is doing clap, 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 we will not be able to start. And the goal for today is to finish on time and to finish this, and so that we can go back. And that get them going. So I'm not asking you that you have to use clap, clap, clap. You can do class, class, class. You can do yes, yes, yes. You can do clap, clap, clap. Or you can do, I know few teachers like to use dancing here. I don't know if it's allowed in India, so I'm not going to go that route, but be creative. You know you are teachers, you know your students, you know how it's going to work, right? If that is not option, on the slide, it says meditate. So I'm not asking you to ask them meditating. It's called basically a centering strategy. So centering is basically like we did, 2 minutes, eyes closed, so that everybody is not really connected what my next kid is doing. You are focusing on yourself and centering. I can assure you, it really, really helps to grasp what the teacher is trying to say. It's one of my favorite activities. Before an event, I myself do centering. Before any lecture, before clearing any exam, or in the past interview, I always do centering. 2 minutes, my own power, my faculties, they come back to me. I'm not distracted by other people. And students are very distracted because we are trying to teach them 5 subjects, 6 subjects in a day. And then there is social media, which is a much bigger discussion. Some other day, maybe. Deep breathing. We are a land of deep breathing. We taught the whole world. We need to use this skill. So the basic deep breathing I'm going to share is always, you can practice yourself as and when needed. We need to breathe from our belly, abdominal muscles. Whenever we breathe from chest, if you are yoga teachers, I'm sure you know that. Whenever we breathe from the chest, that's an anxiety breathing. We restrain our oxygen flow to brain when we breathe from chest. So we need to breathe like a newborn baby from the belly. Our pets, our little babies, they all know how to breathe very well. So if you are doing belly breathing, you got it. If you are not, practice and then share with your students. They will be forever grateful to you for that one thing. That one thing brings our power back to us. And it takes less than 5 minutes. Not a big deal, right? Okay, goal setting for the class, week, month, year, I already touched upon is In US, a lot of time they use timers. I don't know again if it's not allowed in India, but if it is, if you have given any activity to your students, you can always use timers so that you don't have to again and again say that, hey, time is finishing up, let's get going, because sometimes students become kind of immune to it. So when timer goes off, they will stop, or they will know that, okay, 1 extra minute, we are done, right? Then not to enter battle in front of other students. I have seen that in my own with my own eyes. I was invited for a lecture, and then the teacher was talking. So one student, there is always those 1, 2 students in the classroom who are going to challenge you. So I still remember that, where the teacher got into like, no, 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 you need to sit down and everything. And I was like, let's do centering. And then when everybody had eyes closed, I just went to that student. I said, can I talk to you for a minute? So very respectfully, I took the kid out and I asked him, hey, what's bothering you? Is there anything I can help you? And that kid just broke down. But I myself did not do that in front of the whole class. Usually when students are acting up, something is going on and they don't know how to say that I'm not feeling well today emotionally, psychologically, mentally. I need help. So the best thing they can do is act out. But the point here is avoid getting into battle in front of other students, because they might gang up. So one student become 3 and then 4, and then the rest is what it is. Avoid it. Not to be visibly frustrated. Same thing. You can do centering before you enter. You can take them out. It will help you. Giving options. I'm confident you know this. Especially if the students are a little bit older, you really do not want to tell them that this is the only way you are going to do it. At least give them options. And if they are not willing to pick anything from those 2 to 3 options, then you can also talk about the consequences. That if you are going to do this, there are going to be consequences of certain kind, depending on your classroom. Then there is a 10 minutes timeout or 5-minute break. Again, it might not be allowed in India. I'm not fully aware of that part, but if it is, I'll share that with you. There was a study done in Johns Hopkins University. It's a very good university. So, and the suspension rate was more than 50%. More than 50%. The school was so out of control. You know what they did? They emptied a room, a big room. There was nothing in that room, just a carpet. No chairs, no paintings, nothing. A carpet, empty walls, and a soothing music. Every time a student will act out, they will send a kid for 5 minutes to sit in that room. No punishment, no discipline. Teachers are not saying anything, and they will just ask the kid to sit there for 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, and then come back to the room. Guess what? What was the percentage of their suspension rate going down? 90%. That's a big achievement. Without teachers having to work hard or punish or scream or yell. Students, they have it. They just don't know that they can self-reflect, and they realize. And that brings to self-reflection sheets. If you will Google, you will find it. You might not have an option of giving them 10 minutes break, 5 minutes break, but if you give them, you don't need to focus on what I'm teaching. Why don't you step outside for 2 minutes? I need you to fill up this self-reflection sheet. So basically it says like, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? What is bothering me? So those are called a few points on the self-reflection sheets. You can find it, you can use it left and right as and when needed. And if you can maintain that file so that next time if a student acts out, you can simply slip that sheet like, remember, you filled this up a month back. So, because there are going to be certain goals. So please remember that. Visual cues. A lot of teachers use, instead of interrupting the class, you know how some students like to interrupt? Instead of interrupting the class, you can always use stop sign. This is the most common sign that anybody can use. Or you can use like 1 minute, just a minute, and you can continue to talk so that students who are listening, they don't feel interrupted. So create your own visual. You can have a, I don't know, I have a sheet here, right? So I can have a, this is a relaxing sheet. Oh, well, it's not visible. So I can, bring my sheet up, which is a sign. Tell your students, whenever I do that, that means I paid attention, you are raising hand, I will come back to you, but please don't interrupt. So educate your kids right in the beginning. It will help you and they will feel more respected. Then, like I mentioned, class jobs, they come very handy. And I'm not sure if seating charts you can play with in India, but if you can always rotate and make other kids sit with certain children if if you are allowed to do it. But seating charts, it's used a lot in US to, go through that. Okay. So now we go to the question and answer session. I'm just going to open up the floor. Anybody who has a question, thought, comment, please bring it on. I'm here. Okay.
Okay, so ma'am, as you just said in the last, that you can use the visual clues for the students. I do use the clues, like I'm talking, I'll keep talking, and I'll towards that child, I'll just use a hand gesture or
Mhm.
some eye movement to tell that yes, I have noticed that you want to say something. Just give me 2 minutes, and I'll come back to you. So yes, that strategy really helps. It does not break the flow of yours, what you are teaching, and the class, and they are all connected with what you're saying. So once you're done, at times it also happens that their query is actually resolved while you are explaining the things, because they're impatient, they are jumping onto the next thing. But as a teacher, you're going in a sequence, you keep talking and their queries, and then you get back to them and you're like, yes, you were saying something. No, 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 ma'am, my query is resolved, you've already answered the question. So
Mhm.
that actually helps. Yeah, yes.
Great. I'm glad. And thank you for sharing that.
No
Appreciate
problem.
that.
Uh,
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, ma'am. Sheetal this side from Aravali International School. Actually, my question is about, like, I'm grade one teacher, and I'm teaching grade one children, and they are just 5 to 6 years of age. I mean, almost 6 years on an
Hmm.
average. So I
Hmm.
just wanted to confirm, like, these strategies, are they going to work with them as well? Like, if we are using some hand gestures, or we are using, so anything special that we can do for them? Most of the times, like, there are children who understand very well, but few of
Hmm.
them, they really can't. I mean, they have to say what they want to, they have to do what they want to. So
Hmm.
just what strategy can I go with them?
So the stop strategy would actually work with most of the students as long as we tell them when, when the semester or when the school year begins. With the younger kids, you might have to remind them, at least once in a week. And if I were you, I will actually, let's assume that you are using a stop gesture, like stop, right? So I would like you to, have a stop sign of some kind, maybe red color or something bright on your board, on your board. And you can always remind them, remember our stop sign? So once in a week, they have that kind of memory where they can do it. On the other hand, if there are young kids, maybe there is something else going on. Maybe there is a slight mild ADHD or mild
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
autism at sometimes, which is not
Yes.
fully blown. So
Yeah.
at that time, the stop sign might not work. You might want to go and hold while you are talking to other kids. You can just hold the kid's hand, or just pat on the shoulder very gently. So I am suggesting this on base of our sense of touch.
Ah,
Sometimes when students are anxious and they are not able to focus, they feel very out of place. So
yes.
when
True.
we have a gentle touch on their head, shoulder, hold their hands, they feel like, oh, okay, everything is grounded.
Right.
There is a whole science behind it, actually, that when we touch, even adults, if somebody is crying, and you can try it if they allow you, if somebody is crying, if they are going through certain trauma, and if they give you permission, you just hold their hands or you give them a hug, it gives them relief. Being in US, I have to seek permission because the rules are different and I'm a psychologist. So I have to take permission, but invariably I see that when I work with people who are going through trauma and who have gone through trauma, the moment I hold their hands or just put my hand on their shoulder like a half hug so that I'm not too close, it just helps them and they open up, they cry, they open up, and that's where their healing journey begins. So go ahead.
Actually, the child I'm talking about is has the same condition. The child is a bit. I mean, he is. What to say? I mean, I'm not able to get that right word. Actually, the child seeks for touch more. When the child is being hugged or touched, the child is okay. He seeks for touch basically throughout the day. He wants to come, run. He wants to hug. He wants to say close. If I'm not paying him attention, then he's going to throw some tantrums, or he's going to misbehave, run about, or he's going to again run about in the class and bite other children, or matlab some or the other thing to grab my attention, because the child is
Mhm.
seeking for attention and touch.
I
So
see.
there is a bit struggle.
It could be, I mean, whoever this student is, it's very possible that either there is some form of neglect going on at home, or there is over dependence going on at home. Um, so it could be either of two. So in that case, what you can do is when you start your class, and if there is a possibility of that, somewhere in the beginning of the class, you can always say, "How are you doing?" or something, so that you just ground the kid right there instead of waiting for him to feel
Yes.
not comfortable and then you have to work hard to get him
Correct.
grounded. Just start your class if possible with it.
Right. Thank you so much,
Right?
ma'am. Thank
You're welcome. I think we have Revati or whoever was next.
Yeah, good evening.
Hey.
I'm also teaching in the same school at Avli International School. I take care of a little more younger children. The age group is 4 plus. Okay. So here, yes, they are, since they are very young, they have so many things to share with you. So they do not mind that whether you are teaching an important topic or something, they have to share means they have to share. Nobody can stop. So in
Mhm.
that time, so if I am teaching them something, and if any child raises hand or all of a sudden stands up, okay, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. So I just pause my class and ask the child, okay, is it connected with the current topic?
Mm.
The thing that you are
Mm.
going to talk, is it somewhere, somehow connected with this current topic? Then they
Mm.
think for a second, no. Okay,
Mm.
so if it is no, then we can talk about it later. So let's
Okay.
concentrate. If it is
Okay.
yes, okay, then share your points. Okay, so I do this, and later then definitely we have a, talking time. So we share, I mean, since it's a very lively class, so they definitely share. And the touch case, again, since we are taking care of very young children, they
Mm.
love touch. They feel that,
Yeah.
okay, this is their second home and this is their second mother actually. So whenever they have any issue or something, we just have to then, in India, we do not have restrictions in younger class group. We
Great.
definitely do not have any restrictions. So just open the arms. They
Mm.
definitely come. They really need a tight hug. The cries, sorrow, everything just, they go away. So this
Mm.
is the therapy that we use. I mean, I personally use in my class. So the earlier that scenario that gives a chance to the child to think whether I need to talk right now or not. So I think the first lesson of self-regulation comes over there, whether I need to
Yes.
stop. I do not know am I
Absolutely.
correct or not. You can, I
Mm.
mean, you are much more, correct person to correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are absolutely correct because not only self-regulation, I think you are also setting very healthy boundaries for the kid. And actually, you are preparing them for that when they become CEOs and all the good stuff, they know that how to stay focused on the topic, whatever is being discussed, even in the college. So I think you are helping them on the multiple levels by using that strategy. And yes, everybody is welcome to use this strategy. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that,
you so much.
Revati.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Any question, thought, or any experience? All of you are so experienced. I think it will help. Yes, let's go with Dipali.
Yes, ma'am. The technique which you told us that we need to hold the hand, we need to pat. Same thing I'm also doing with the kid who is always running, and but now he's more settled. He's calm. Whenever he's cranky, first of all, I listen to him very calmly. Listen to his thoughts. He's
Mm,
able to converse with me. He's able to share his thoughts. So
mm.
he remain very calm, relaxed. He can sit now. He can write. So I'm happy, and this technique really works now.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Please continue using it.
Welcome,
You
ma'am.
know,
Thank you.
and thank you. I'll also say, because I'm such an advocate for, the yoga and meditative practices, you can always say, if there is a kid who is not able to ground himself or herself, you can always say, place your hand on your heart and just count about 15. Sometimes that's all it takes. Place your hand on your heart or place your hand, like that. Usually the namaste pose is very grounding. If they don't feel grounding, you can always do this. So these, the digs in our hands, they have a very calming effect on our brain. So if you ask them to do this and sit there and count up to 20, you might be surprised how quickly it helps. Really, these are a few good exercises. And some of you might remember from childhood, I never got it, but a few of my classmates got that punishment. This punishment, remember? Actually, it's not a punishment. It is a yoga pose to balance your, emotional and logical brain. So left and right, we cross, we go to the accurate, pose. The only deal here is your thumb need to be in the front. You cannot do this. You have to do this. So if you tell your student you can sit on the, chair, the ideal way of doing is basically standing, but then it does look like a punishment. So you can let them sit and just hold their ears, and you can practice at home for yourself anytime needed. This is such a good exercise. Less than 5 minutes, your emotional, logical brain gets a good balance. Easy things. And these are all coming out of yoga. I did not invent it, they work. So doing this namaste pose, holding this way, that can help you. If you know a person or a kid who has a little bit of ADHD or anxiety, you can take your left thumb, I don't know if you can see it, left thumb, and you can go around the nail, just press it. No, around the nail, not on the nail, sides on the nail, on the side. There you go. You got it. So you can keep it in your lap. You can relax and breathe. Even pressing the sides of your nails gently, you will know the spot. It will reduce the anxiety in less than 5 minutes. These are some really good tips that you can use in the classroom on yourself as and when needed, because I'm sure all of you come from families, and then you drive to school, and then there are students waiting for you, and then there is administrative work. So I think we all need a little centering every single day. I do it till date. So many years in practice. So yes, try that. Okay, we have Sukhwinder also. Sukhwinder, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as you have suggested that we have to give the break, like in India, we can't allow the student to go out of the class. But what I do, as we have just initiated with the topic AI in our school, and I'm the teaching AI and Python. So what the student do is, what they feel is they are getting bored sometime, no, and they feel
Hmm.
sleepy. So what I do is I just stop teaching and started talking with the student 1 or 2 minutes and some joke and anything else the student interest, so that they just go out of that the phobia they are having, like this is a yes. So I do this thing. I don't know this is good or bad, but I personally do this thing in my classroom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good strategy. There is no place where humor cannot come handy. I can tell you that, whether it's a light humor or whether you are cracking a joke, you know your strengths. We cannot only sit here and talk about student strengths. You know you have strengths. So if you are good at conversation, go for it. If you are good at some artwork, go for it. If you are good at, I have seen students, humming a line, for a song or a poem or something. You know your strengths. You have come so far, you have become teachers, you chose to be teachers. Obviously there is a lot more going on inside you. Bring it out. These are the events or incidences in the classroom when you can do it, especially when the break is not allowed. I love that, Sukhinder. The sense of humor part always come handy, so use it left and right again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. There is another experience that I would like to quickly share here. So one time I was doing a meditation session for really, really young kids. So I remember the teacher here in one of a very good school, actually. It's called Roosevelt Addison School. So what she was doing was she would stand outside her room and she would welcome almost everybody, like, hey, welcome to the class, looking forward for it, every single student. But granted, the students are like, there were only 20 in the classroom. So I think in India probably the number is more. I'm not sure what's happening now, but in my time the number was very high. So you might not be able to do it with every single one, but if you can just stand somewhere in the door and the kids who might need attention, without making it obvious that you are not important and you can make an eye contact with them. That might be easier. Or you can do two high fives at the same time so that 50 students can be into 25 high fives. So again, use your creativity, use your wisdom. You know your students, you know you, and it comes handy. Actually, there is a, in US, there is a teacher and there is a co-teacher. So that teacher was
Also
using
had the
high
same
fives.
mom.
Oh, it's the great.
Yeah.
So the co-teacher was actually trying to hug the students who know that they have a little bit of anxiety and ADHD going on, just to ground them. So I will leave it on you. Few strategies that I shared, few no's that I shared. You don't want to do it. Making students that they are very valuable, knowing their strengths, and if something goes off, how to use these strategies to help them stay grounded. Very basic ones: deep breathing, holding ears, pressing your thumb, or just closing eyes for 2 minutes. Anything that you can use, please use. It will make your life easier, and students will be easy to, discipline and nurture, because they all need nurturing, especially these days. Parents are so busy, they need nurturing.
Ma'am,
And so we do too.
I would like to share uh, my one strategy.
Sure.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, Sheetal, go ahead.
Unstable.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I do modulate my voice whenever I call them. Like, if I'm using this strategy more often, like class, children will answer me back, yes, yes. But with this, I keep on modulating. Like, once I say class, so they will answer me back in the same modulation, same voice, same tone. So this I keep on, and then I whisper, class. So they will say me, yes, yes. And this is how I'm able to grab them back. So if they are lost, so this strategy really works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that also. It's okay. And we have Nina.
Ma'am, I am dealing with adolescents, especially 9 to 11 class. I am biology teacher. After my 20 minutes of class, I make the whole class to stand and tell them about the circulation of heart, and I make them to sip one sip of water, ask them to have some water. Then
Mhm.
just electrolyte balance and tell that importance, why it is important. Then I make them to sit. So within
Mm,
the 2 minutes, I take hardly 2 to 3 minutes time for helping them to sip at least some amount of water, what they don't do, and
right.
then talking about this why it is important. So it
Mm,
the whatever disturbance they get during the teaching, They become
Mhm.
normal, and then again I start my class.
Great, excellent strategy. And
Yeah.
I can 100% vouch for this one, what Nina just shared, because our brain is 85% water, and
Yes,
most of the kids, very unfortunately,
they don't
they
take
don't
water.
have habit drinking water. So
Yes,
if it's almost like this, if I'm not feeding my stomach and I want to run a marathon, you know it's not going to happen. And if it will happen, I will drag.
yes,
Same thing happens with if your brain is not well fed, 85% water, and you don't drink water, you are not going to be able to focus. You will not be sharp and you will be tired and probably yawning also.
yeah, yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. You know, drinking water, I'm not going to say that they need to finish their half bottle because then there is a bathroom break problem. I have heard that. But we still need to ask them to keep sipping water, and 5 minutes or 2 minutes standing strategy. That is actually good because I'm sure all of you must have read about it that our focus, the peak focus
30.
starts is in like 20 to 30 minutes, and we start to go down before an hour. So
Ah,
if you make your students stand, all of them, not one person, it will bring their blood circulation back to not only heart, like she beautifully said, but also to your brain.
yes.
So use this, Nina's strategy,
Thank
and
you.
use for yourself too. If you are standing, or I mean, if you are sitting all day, you use it, you will see the difference. I
Yes,
think students, and for me, clinicians, and and teachers, we are almost like parents. Like when I work with parents, I always say, make sure you are growing up with your kids.
yeah, yeah,
Same thing I think teachers need to know, especially post-COVID. We
yeah.
just cannot be what we used to do. Things
Mm,
have shifted. So
yes,
we need to continue to grow with our students, you know?
Has been
Yeah.
such a beautiful, talk. And time and again, we come back to the same important, thoughts. One of them being EQ, the other being like, nurturing, just like a gardener, sowing the seeds and watering it properly.
Mhm.
Discipline, yes, is important, being like a potter, but being a gardener, nurturing is so very important. And the
Yes.
strategies that you today talked about, they are really wonderful. I'm going to try this one. I wasn't aware of it, and thank you for sharing. तो थोड़ा सा कुछ छोटी सी एक दो एक्टिविटी कर लेते हैं सो दैट our teachers also become agile and after the session देखते हैं तो
Hmm.
teachers are you ready to do a small activity थोड़ा सा मज़ा मस्ती भी हो जाए and this activity is about a mentimeter. We have done that mentimeter already. Siddhant, can we share the screen of the mentimeter with them? The link for the Mentimeter is in your chat box. Please click on the link, and when you reach there, the question to you is, what does discipline mean to you? The code, if it asks for, is 751132225. I'll repeat, 751132225. What does discipline mean to you as a teacher? How would you like to discipline? You can use multiple words. Start sharing. The link is in the chat box. So happy to see a lot of answers, lot of things coming up. 25. Can we have few more answering? Practice of training individuals. Lovely. Please clap for yourself, teachers, for being so agile, for being so, participative. तो ठीक है सिद्धांत, थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग दिस स्लाइड. एक छोटी सी स्लाइड और कर लेते हैं. हम सब ना अक्सर क्या करते हैं, कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि हम डिसिप्लिन कर रहे हैं, बच्चे कह रहे हैं ये पनिशमेंट है. कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि नरिश करना चाहिए. तो अपने अपने नोटबुक्स में Please create a Venn diagram like this, and shortly we'll be sharing a list of words with you. कौन सा वर्ड कहाँ फिट हो रहा है या वो ओवरलैप कर रहा है कहाँ पर. You can choose 5 for each set of, you don't have to use all, but 5 जो एक सर्कल में फिट आए, 5 for each circle. So I think now let's go and see where each word fits in. And teachers can see whether they have put the words in the right diagram circle or not. So which are the overlapping for discipline and nurturing, encouragement, जिसके ऊपर हमको सबसे ज़्यादा we keep talking about. Sometimes we just miss. Please keep the encouragement going on in the classroom situations. Guidance, respect, growth, right? So this is very, very important. Accountability, fairness, supportive consequences, these are also overlapping of discipline and punishment, or nurturing and punishment. We are so blessed that today she was there with us to guide our uh, teachers, our educators, who are really doing their job very well. But हम सबको कहीं ना कहीं एक दूसरा perspective, an expert counsel, a guidance is required, so that whatever good we are doing, we keep doing even better and more of it. And if somewhere we are missing the line, we can plug in those gaps. So thank you very much, to Miss Suruchi Saini, for the time and the guidance and the mentorship. Thank you to all the teachers, all our educators who always join in and participate so enthusiastically. Last but not the least, thank you to Siddhant Pradhan, our EC president, who is always there to align all our guest lectures, besides other events and activities, and for planning all the activities that we do. Thank you very much. Have a great day. And thank you to Dr. Aarti Girdhar for having this project, this fellowship for all our teachers, because this is a platform where we all are connecting, brainstorming, growing together. Thank you very much.